Now at 4, the final push at the polls. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump heave their final pitches before voting ends in just hours.
And it's going to be a rainy finish to what's been a windy and warm election day when the rain will arrive at your polling location.
And confinement to crime scene reconstruction. The packed day for jurors in the Delphi murders trial. Live from Indy, you're watching 13 News.
It's 4 o'clock. We are just 2 hours away from the polls closing across Indiana. We've seen Hoosiers packing vote centers all day long to cast a ballot. This is a live look at a polling place inside the Whitestown Municipal Complex. You can see the last-minute voters in line there as well. Thanks for joining us this afternoon on this election day. I'm Dustin Grove.
And I'm Felicia Lawrence, and you are watching 13 News at 4. So we know some people had to wait in the rain today to vote. We're going to get it over to meteorologist Sean Ash with today's weather impact. We just saw those folks who were actually inside in line. Lucky for them because the rain has come down.
Yeah, it's starting to come in from the west here. It's over the metro area, and it's not real heavy, but you know, if you're in line now or if you're about to head out, it'd be a good idea to have that raincoat or the umbrella. Let's show you the numbers as we look across central Indiana. My goodness, well into the 70s in what's been one of the warmest election days in Indiana that we've had here. But you can see the raindrops there in Carmel, where we're starting to get some rain here in downtown. You can see the rain there in Bunker Hill, as well as Crawfordsville. This is, again, nothing severe, but if you do have to wait outside, you're going to be waiting in this rain. Cicero, Tipton, now into Fishers, slowly moving toward Muncie and Knightstown. If you live east of I-69, you still have much longer. In the far eastern part of the state, unlikely that this will get there before 6 o'clock in Union City or Richmond. And as we go a little bit farther to the south here, you can see it's over Bloomington. This is going to overspread Johnson County, eventually reaches Columbus, probably by the top of the hour the way it looks. This is the initial batch of rain here, and we'll have much more to come as we go through the evening because the cold front is still well to the west of us. We are in the warm sector now. 78 in Shelbyville, 77 Columbus. So far today in Indianapolis, 75 degrees. You're starting to see those 60s to the west now. Wind gust, they have peaked. We had them up to over 40 miles per hour earlier. Still going to be breezy, however, as we go through the evening. Here's Future Track 13 as we go towards 6, 7 o'clock. That's what I meant. We'll have some additional downpours between now and midnight here. We'll break down the temperature numbers for today and still an above average 7-day forecast here in just a few minutes.
All right, Sean, thank you. Check back in soon. You know, no matter what happens tonight, history will be made in America. If Donald Trump wins, he'll be the first president since Grover Cleveland to be voted out of the White House and then voted back in.
And then if Vice President Kamala Harris wins, she'll be the first woman ever elected president. For a majority of voters, they're hoping that whoever ends up in the Oval Office will address the key issues that's important to them.
We have team coverage of today's election here locally and across the country. We begin with Laura Aguirre.
Women's reproductive rights.
The economy, more than anything.
Border's huge for me.
I want our country to heal. I want to move past this.
Cornerstone issues driving massive voter turnout in several states today. In battleground Pennsylvania, Philly's district attorney says he's seeing more aggressive behavior than in the past, with his office investigating about a dozen calls from polling places. He's got a message for troublemakers.
We do have the cuffs. We do have the jail cells. We're not playing. F around and find out.
A couple Pennsylvania counties reported minor technical malfunctions with some voting machines, but voters could still cast their ballots. A judge granted one county, Cambria, extended hours to accommodate.
I am completely confident in our ability to run the elections fairly, and all of our voters' ballots are going to be counted.
Georgia had its share of phoned-in threats today. In one case, voting was briefly disrupted at 2 locations, bomb threats that were found to be non-credible.
We identified the source, and it was from Russia. They're up to no mischief, it seems, and they don't want us to have a smooth, fair, and accurate election.
An election that may take a while to tally. Election organizers urge patience.
It's hard to predict when people will be able to wake up and know the result out of Pennsylvania.
I just want to assure the American public that it will happen, but it will be sometime after midnight.
The nation's last polls don't close until 1 a.m. Eastern Time Wednesday morning in Alaska. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
And we are just under 2 hours away until the end of voting here in Indiana.
Republicans have led the state for decades, currently hold a supermajority in both legislative chambers as well as the governor's office. Republican Mike Braun aiming to extend the GOP's 20-year hold on Indiana governor's office in a race pitting him against Democrat Jennifer McCormick. Interesting to point out here that McCormick is a former Republican who split with the party after serving as the state's school superintendent. Braun is the wealthy founder of a national auto parts distribution business. Both candidates are vying to succeed outgoing Republican Governor Eric Holcomb, who cannot run for a third term because of term limits. In the Indiana House, there are a total of 100 seats currently split, 70 Republicans, 30 Democrats. All seats up for election, but only 64 are contested races. Now, over in the Senate, there are a total of 50 seats. Currently, Republicans hold the lead 40-10, half of the seats up for election, and 13 of those are contested.
We have been checking on those long lines and the wait times at voting locations all throughout Marion County, and we're bringing you live team coverage.
Some voters have been waiting more than an hour to cast their vote. Our investigative reporter Sierra Putman is tracking all that. She's live at the Marion County Election Board Service Center.
And our Anna Chalker traveled around to polls on the west side and now joins us live at Bridgeport Elementary. Let's get to Anna first. Anna, can you fill us in on how things are looking?
Well, Dustin and Felicia, I can tell you the lines here at Bridgeport are long, but they are steady to say the least. And the rain is coming down right now on the west side. So if you're having to come out, just let you know, bring that raincoat and umbrella. And I will tell you the line has gotten longer outside. Even though we're inside right now, I do want to show you and step out of the way. The line inside still pretty long. I mean, when we were walking in, it was starting to wrap around the building. Remember, you still have 2 hours to get in line out here today. Now, the wait for most people here in this area has been about an hour to an hour and a half, but I do want to take you to another location here on the northwest side. This video is from a line inside Eastbrook Elementary School. Workers there told me voters were outside ready to vote at 5:30 this morning, and they actually were able to keep the line inside the gym today and kind of form like a snake formation. And one voter said it only took her about 20 minutes start to finish, and she told me she was okay with being there all day just so she could cast her vote.
This is the first battle that I have ever seen where it's a tight race and we don't know which way it's going to go.
Now, poll workers there created an extra line for people with walkers and wheelchairs so they didn't have to be in a line as long with a lot of chairs, especially in that line. Now, back here live at Bridgeport Elementary, I do want to let you know if you live on the west side and still need to come out here, they have made a lot of announcements that people from Hendricks County have been coming into this location. If you live in Hendricks County, Bridgeport Elementary is not your voting location. You'll need to go somewhere in Hendricks County, but we have information for those polling locations on our website right now. But coming up at 5, I'll show you 2 first-time voters who say they were excited about this entire day and they were just glad they were finally able to cast their ballot. Live on the website, Anna Chalker, 13 News.
Okay, Anna Chalker, Bridgeport Elementary, thank you so much.
Our Election Day team coverage continues. Investigative reporter Sierra Putnam joins us live from the Marion County Election Board Service Center.
And Sierra, can you tell us how things have gone today? What are you hearing? Is everyone casting their votes? What are you seeing?
Well, we can tell you right here where we are right now, this is where they're going to actually do the count. You have about 200 to 300 election workers cycling in and out from this location. Right now, they're handling those absentee ballots. So those are those mail-in ballots that came in or ballots from military and service workers. And they have been working since about 9 this morning. And I'm going to bring you over to meet the Director of Elections, Patrick Becker. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Can you tell us about how many people have already voted today since this is the actual election day?
Sure, yes. We've had over 160,000 people vote today in person so far, and that's a good turnout.
Mm-hmm. And when we think about election day, we know it's not always smooth sailing. Can you talk about some of the places where you've ran into some issues and how you worked out those issues?
Yeah, so we've speaking of turnout, right, people have been coming out to vote, and we've had some sites that have been running a little bit low on ballots, but we have, a couple of locations that were running to the end, and we were able to get ballots out to them so they can continue to vote, and we've made plans to make sure they're well stocked for the rest of the evening to be prepared for high turnout at the end of the day.
And I understand it's about just after 4 o'clock. Now, this is when you expect more voters to come out it's your busy time.
Sure, yeah, so end of the day, we close at 6, so you get in line by 6, you can vote. So folks that are leaving work, getting their kids home from school, we expect, are going to stop by and try to vote.
Well, thank you so much. Patrick Becker, the Director of Elections here in Marion County, reporting live in Marion County. Sierra Putman, 13 Investigates.
Thank you, Sierra. And all BMV locations here in Indiana will extend their hours today to make sure as many people as possible get to cast their ballot. They will issue IDs, which are needed to vote. So if you need to get your ID or other documents to vote, branches are open right now until 6 p.m. And make sure to check the BMV website for a full list of items you'll need when you visit.
And don't forget, we are going to have complete election night coverage. We are just getting started on air here on 13 News at 4, 5, and 6. We'll be online and on our WTHR Plus streaming app all night long. Hear from candidates as they learn race results and much more. It is a free download on Apple TV, Roku, and Fire Stick. We are headed to Delphi after the break. The testimony today into one key location in the murder investigation, and a Harvard psychiatrist weighs in on Richard Allen's state of mind. That's next.
Plus, the reason former Eagles player Jason Kelce is apologizing to fans. Sean?
Well, we've got rain on radar here. We'll let you know how much to expect and when it will move out ahead in your forecast.